So today we're going to be changing the oil on my W204 C-Class. This one in particular is the C230 4MATIC. Comes with a 2.5 liter V6. All the M272 engines from Mercedes, the 2.5, 3 liter and 3.5 all require 8.5 liters of oil. But I usually find that when I'm doing the oil change they take a little bit less than 8 liters. But again, always buy 8.5. So the oil that I recommend to use is Mobil 10W40. That's the one the manufacturer recommends, and with this oil combined with the special filter you can do 15,000 kilometers or more oil change intervals, but I personally change them at 10,000. Now make sure that the filter you buy is this white style. It's called fleece lined oil filter. This is the model that all C classes and E classes with the M272 engine use. I pick it up for under 20 bucks here in Canada from the local auto parts store, and it also includes all the O-rings for the oil filter housing, and it also includes O-ring for the oil dipstick because oil can leak out of there too. Now for tools, you're gonna need an oil filter wrench. This is Mercedes specific, a 14mm socket to remove the drain pan bolt, a torque wrench to torque everything down to spec after, and one of these copper washers that you can get from your local auto parts store for like a few cents. This is for the drain pan bolt to make sure it seals. This crushes down when you torque down the bolt and then makes a nice tight seal. So this is a mandatory to replace if you're gonna do the oil drain method. Like you're gonna drain the oil from the, if you're using an excavate, like oil, pumping the oil out, then you won't need to worry about that. To begin with, you're gonna have to lift up the front end of the car with your preferred method. I just use ramps, and then I make sure the rear wheels are blocked off. And then you need to remove the underpound tray, the middle one, not the front one. You can actually leave on. I use a driver to help me remove it faster. And then you're gonna need an oil drain pan bolt to collect the oil. So once you've removed the middle tray, this is actually the oil pan right here, and there's a drain bolt. It faces the driver's side front wheel, and since there's a lot of oil, lots of pressure, when you first remove the bolt, it will actually shoot really far out, almost all the way over the wheel, so make sure you have positioned. But then in the first few seconds the pressure will decrease, and you're gonna have to shift this over accordingly to prevent any leaks. Be careful as the oil is very hot. See, as you can see, the oil pressure, as it slowly decreases, you'll see that it's moving over. So you have to stay underneath the car for the first few minutes just to make sure the oil doesn't spill everywhere. So just shift it over. See, now if I were to have walked away from the car, this would completely miss the drain pan and make a huge spill everywhere. Now I'm just gonna let it drain for 15 minutes and go remove the oil filter. What I like to do is take some brake clean and just clean off the oil off the drain bolt and inspect it, check the threads, see that they're still good. So this one's healthy. We're gonna reuse this drain plug. You never wanna, if it's ever cross-threaded or damaged, you don't want to put it in because the oil pan is made of aluminum, and if you damage that, you're gonna get into a lot more trouble. And here's the old copper washer. You can see that when you tighten down the bolt, it actually compresses, and they're not reusable. I mean, technically some people reuse them, but they're like less than 10 cents. I would just replace it every time. Continues to drain. You're gonna remove this front plastic cover off the engine, and then here's your oil filter. There usually is a line marked from the factory, so you don't even have to torque this down. You just gotta make sure that these are lined up. Cover off, I like to put some paper towel around the oil filter just in case some oil spills. It'll be easier to clean up. Now we're gonna take our socket and just give it, it's not torqued down too much, it's only like 18 foot-pounds, it should break. So we're gonna go ahead and remove this and show you. So there's a little bit more oil in here, and since there's a vacuum up here, you'll find that once you remove this, more oil will actually drain underneath the car. So we're just gonna pick it up slowly, and you can see there's oil in there. And then once we pull the filter out, it's gonna drain through that hole. And I like to just use something to put the oil filter in, keep it nice and clean. Now we're gonna go ahead and place the filter and all the seals. I'll show you how to do that. There's many benefits to changing your oil, one being saving a lot of money, and then also you can be sure that you're putting the right oil, the right filter for your car, because a lot of times shops, to save money, they just use oil from the barrel. You ask them for synthetic and they put half synthetic, whatever that means. And when you're underneath your car, you can inspect different parts and make sure you know, like, do any other preventive maintenance you might need. And for example, this leftover oil, like if you're getting this oil change done by shop, you're not going to go ahead and clean that, but since you already have it open and it's beneficial to you, you can just go ahead and clean up that dirty oil, make it nice and clean. Now shops will never do that for you, no matter how much you're paying them. Okay, so now we have our oil filter housing, and here's the filter itself. You just twist it right out. Now we gotta change 3 of the seals. Here's a large one, it goes right here. And then there's one that replaced right here, and another one there. And they include one extra. And this really small one right here is for the oil dipstick, so we'll leave this for later. Just go ahead and use a pick or something and remove the old ones. These smaller ones are a little bit more difficult. They're a bit tighter. So just go ahead and remove those, and then what you want to go ahead and do is to take the new ones. What I like to do is take a little bit of the fresh new oil, put it in the cap, and just pre-lube these. And you're just going to go ahead and slide them back on top, and I'll show you how to put the filter in. Now we're going to go ahead and install the filter. You can actually put it in either way, it doesn't really matter. I normally, when I put it onto the oil filter housing, I have this writing that tells you the model number and the company name facing this way, like out. And what you want to do is the lines have to be tucked in. So basically they include this image inside the filter housing, so it can't be like that. You should have at least one of them hidden by the housing. So what you basically do is you just take it in, and you're going to have to force it on like this. Then, so you don't want it like this, you got to make sure that's tucked in all the way. Once that's seated and you see that line there and it's about a finger's width, you're good to go. You can put this back into the housing and torque it down to about 18 foot-pounds. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. We're going to put the drain bolt on, and then I'm going to show you how to replace the seal on the oil dipstick and fill up the oil with the engine with oil. So I put the oil filter on. Its torque spec is 25 newton meters or 18 foot-pounds as stated on this, but actually from factory they come with these lines, and then once you hand tighten it all the way and it's fully seated, you can't see the O-ring anymore. You just got to line it up. As you can see, I went a little bit past it. I'm just paranoid, so but anyways, that should be good enough. But if you want for peace of mind, you can put your oil filter wrench back on and torque it down to 18 foot-pounds. Now we're going to go ahead and put the drain bolt. I'll show you how to do that with the new copper gasket, and then we're going to go ahead and fill the oil from here. So here's the drain bolt, new copper washer. Put it on, and as you can see, the oil is still slowly draining. If you want, you can go ahead and wait, but I'm not gonna. It'll drain for a couple hours like that. It's very, very important that you hand thread it all the way in until it's snug. You don't want to put a wrench on it, because again, if you cross thread this aluminum drain pan, yeah, you're fucked. So it's hand tight. Now I'm going to go ahead and put a torque wrench on it and torque it down to 25 foot-pounds. So once the oil filter is tightened down and the drain bolt's back on with the new copper washer, you're going to go ahead and, I normally put in about 6 liters or 6 quarts. 6 of these small ones in at first. Then I put everything back down, get the car running, and then I check the level again and add accordingly. Normally it takes about 7.5, even though the car has 8.5 liters. So you can just go ahead and pour down that. So I'm gonna go ahead and put in 6 liters right now. Then I'm gonna drop the car and I'll show you how to check the level, and when we're checking the level, we'll replace the O-ring on the dipstick. Now that you got the jack on level ground, the old dipstick is back here. We're just gonna pull it out. And the seal that I'm talking about that you can replace is this one right here. Go ahead and replace it the same method as the oil filter housing. Now we're gonna go ahead and check the level and add oil accordingly. Now on the dipstick you have your minimum line, which is right there, and max, so you can be anywhere between those 3 circles, those 3 dots. I like to stay on the minimum end because as the oil sits overnight, it'll drain from the heads and you'll get closer to max. Like, you definitely don't want to be up here when the engine's off, right? So I like to stay below the 2nd dot. I'm gonna go ahead and fill it up. As you can see, I'm not even at the minimum line yet, so I'm gonna need to add quite a bit more oil. Now, on the topic of disposing your old used oil, I like this type of drain pan because what you do is, one, it has this little grating to catch the drain bolt if you were to lose control of it. Just tighten this lid back on, and then it has this little drain spout. So what I like to do is I take the new oil that I put on and take the old canister and I just fill them up, and then once I have like quite a bit of collection, like from old oil changes, you just take it to a place I'll dispose it.